Yes.
Oh, I thought you said Dirty Tuesday, and I didn't understand.
It is dirty.
Man.
If that's how you feel, dirty.
I mean, I do kind of feel that way
if
about
you want
it.
to do Dirty Tuesday with ENR.
Dirty fits for Wednesdays.
It is Theory Tuesday with ENR.
Batman. Oh, that's not how that ends. Oh. All right, and
It
this
kind
is
of
what
does. You know what? Yeah, it kind of does.
I mean,
like
I'm
that.
not mad.
It was,
I
it was
thought
supposed
you
to be
were-
like the X-Files. Like,
Oh, I thought you were
Okay.
doing the Unsolved Mysteries.
oh no, it is Unsolved Mysteries because X-Files is like
that music is so freaky. Nate goes to sleep to Unsolved Mysteries. There's something
his
wrong with him.
No, Homeboy's voice.
He does have a good voice.
Until we saw the white actor in blackface, I just can't watch it anymore.
And
Yeah,
when
that
Esther
one
saw
was
the white
awful.
actor in blackface.
It's like you guys have had black actors and actresses. Like, what?
Cool.
And it wasn't even a speaking part. It was just
wasn't.
the.
It was
they
just
could've-
showing them.
They could have
like,
got anybody to do that.
Questionable things
Life.
were happening.
Life.
It would have
Wow.
been easier just to grab a black dude off the street
And like,
than
hey.
to
said,
put
"Stand
a white
here."
dude in blackface.
Yeah, well, facts. Effort, labor.
I'm Esther.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Unsolved Theon.
Oh, I like that. You gotta make your voice ashy.
And that's when Theon came home to find the devil in his living room.
Theon, honestly, if you
Andre.
voice over things for me, I could probably fall asleep. Unless you decided to mix it up over, because you've got a really good, like, voice too. But if you decide to mix it up with your, oh God, why can't I think today? Oh, because I'm so tired. Morgan
make it-
Freeman,
Uh-huh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then I might not be able to fall asleep. I'm trying to think of all the other ones you do.
I'll make it like an hour long, and like 55 minutes into it, when I think you're asleep, I'm gonna like throw a bunch of subliminal stuff at you.
Ooh.
First of all, I would listen to this. I would hope that they would be, because I know you love me deep down, so I know that they would be good subliminal things and maybe one ridiculous one. But I would never listen to a tape where I put subliminal messages on it because I'm not right.
It wouldn't be subliminal.
It's like your palm.
Subliminal.
You're
excuse
right. It would be right up in your face.
me.
Yeah.
So just a little disclaimer. This theory is about babies. It's about children's.
Oh God, Esther, damn you!
I'm sorry. Well,
I'm just
not,
teasing.
though. But yeah,
I know you're not.
it is about the children's
Okay.
and some abductions. So
Okay, I'm in. I'm all in for it. I'm gonna really have to focus, like, because we all
Yeah.
know I struggle.
I know I did
last
not
night.
do a PowerPoint this time
No.
because I am like the weirdest fucking person. Because if I do a PowerPoint,
It's
then I
gotta be
want to read
perfect.
the PowerPoint,
Yeah.
and it sounds fucking stupid.
Okay, listen, I think that
I'm
that's
trying to
just you,
freeform
but
this.
I like this freeform idea. It keeps me focused, and you can
We'll
snap.
see how
You got a
focused.
free hand to slap me around when I'm off track.
Yeah.
But I was listening to one of my podcasts, Mysterious Universe,
Ooh,
which I like them. Some Australian dudes.
I have to check them out.
Yeah, I heard of this podcast from a bartender a couple years back, so I've been listening to them for a while. But they started talking about this book, or one of them started talking about a book that they read called Child Stealers.
First of all,
by
what?
Martin Cannon.
Like,
Yeah.
is it a fiction book?
No, this is real. This is legit shit. So, what we're talking about is phantom social workers.
Wait, I cannot wait. Let's do it.
So they told the story, and I just like had to do a theory on it because it's something that I've never listened to, and yeah, I don't have kids, but it's also something like you haven't heard of in the U.S. It's not really public. Like, it's not a frenzy or anything. Even the dude that wrote the book talks about how it's like there was a couple of cases that made national news and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's just like local, not even local paper writings. So it's
Just randomness, I guess.
well, it's
Like
just
it'll get a blip?
It's not, just like
Okay.
little blips. So it's not as like high as it was, or highly talked
Publicized?
about,
Got
as it was. But there was cases in the UK that made it a big popular thing. So Martin Cannon, excuse me, was going to write about the UK things, but then he stumbled on all the phantom social workers in the United States, which isn't as highly publicized.
I've never
so
heard
he
of
was
this.
like, I got to do this, and he lives here, so he was like, it's easy.
Yeah. Let's get it on.
The book is aggressive. There's a lot of cases in it. So he just tells, like, he does a little outline where if you just want to do the conspiracy
Read
cases,
pages 12 through 49.
So that's all I did, because I was like, no, I could do this. And then I tried to start reading it. I was like, this is aggressive. So we're just going to go over the conspiracy, quote unquote, cases, which is 2 or more impersonators that visit a household. The visitors are, by definition, conspirators. Category requires no more than 2. Even the cases involving a single person will be labeled conspiracy if they have, if the kidnapper was arranged to sell the kid. Yeah, it's gonna get there.
Whoa.
So this is like a whole like criminal enterprise.
That's what we're trying to get into, because in the U.S., and it's still ongoing to this day.
Like, what I don't get is, like, how do 2 or more adults be like, hey, you want to, like, steal some children? Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Because the
And then
money
the
of it
whole
is so
time,
much.
It's like, man, we're going to go in here. We're going to steal a child. We're going to steal a child. Yep, we're going to steal a child. Seems like the 3rd time you say steal a child, you're like, you know what?
That's a lot.
Yeah, we're not.
See,
gonna do
I
this.
don't think they're even recruiting those people who are going to repeat that. These are seasoned professionals.
Well, it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And the like, what I get into is more of the, like, successful abductions.
Okay.
But there's a lot of unsuccessful abductions, or they took the kid and then, like, a couple hours later. It's a lot. I'll get into it, though.
We're waiting.
But of course this dude started the book because there was a media frenzy in the 1990s, early 1990s. Because on January 30th, 2 female phantom social workers came to Elizabeth Copeland. They were well dressed. They said they were from the National Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Children.
Okay.
A mouthful. And that, like,
first of all, those
every
people
state
don't
has
visit.
their own.
Those, like, are we talking like DFACS? Like,
This
here's
is
Department
well,
of
this is
Family and
UK.
Children. Okay.
United Kingdom.
Oh, okay, got it.
But I mean, like, I don't know, maybe they do visit. But every state even has their own faction.
all right,
child
let me
protection-
poke holes into
protection
everything
services.
they did wrong.
Don't. There's a lot. So they come in, they inspect the children, they come back 2 days later with a dude. So it's 2 females that come in the first initial visit. They come back with a dude the next time, and they want the children. They're like, we need to take the children.
You better show me a motherfucking warrant.
The mother.
But that happens.
Well, yeah, and the mother
And it happens
threatened to
much
call
like
the
that.
cops because she was like, this ain't right. And they just left. They abruptly left.
Oh, wow.
They fucked off. And by
So
the
she
time the
knew.
cops got, she was like, oh, hell no. And by the time the cops got there, they confirmed they didn't work with the National Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, even though that's a real thing in the UK. They knew nothing of this visit. The cops were confuzzled. Everybody was confuzzled. But after it was written in the papers, more people came out in the UK and said,
this been happening
this has
to them?
happened. Yeah, this has happened to them. But of course, the police kind of played it down. Like, they made it more of like it's just a frenzy because they saw it in the papers. So now everybody's scared of any knock on their door.
Yeah, that's politics right there.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
I
they
have a
did,
question though.
mhm.
So the people who then came out and said, "Hey, this happened."
Mhm.
Did they describe 2 ladies and a dude? Was it all the same, or was it just varied?
It was basically the 2 women.
Okay.
And then it was kind of varied between that, and then the UK is so huge.
Right.
There was like a whole thing in Yorkshire, I think. The cops did a whole thing there where they debunked a bunch, quote unquote, and said only a certain amount were real cases. But that's only like one blip in the UK.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Got
nobody else, no other faction did that.
Wait,
they were
so
just
the
like, whatever.
police debunked all those in Yorkshire?
Quote unquote.
Huh.
Quote unquote.
Is it
it's
because
very
they
fine
have
line.
money invested in it?
Maybe.
Throwing out bullshit tonight.
But so this dude, he was writing a story on that, and he was like, I'm gonna just debunk it. Yeah, it's a media frenzy. But then he started looking, and there's a case as early as 1990 in the U.S.
Really?
of people posing as social workers trying to abduct children.
Damn.
And he was like, yo, I gotta look more into this. And there's actually cases earlier than that.
Oh, I believe it. That just probably didn't get reported
Exactly.
the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So the first story he says to start with is Mary Agnes Monterey, Chicago, Illinois. The Depression, 1930.
Oh, man. There was the Depression, you see. There was a Dust Bowl.
Father was a truck driver, mother, homemaker, basically. Of course, it's the Depression, so father loses his job. He gets a part-time gig handing out flyers, obviously not making any money. Who is making money? But the wife, Christine, her family puts an ad in the paper trying to look for a job for homeboy, Michael, the father.
Oh, man. She married down. That's what that is. That's what that is. And dad and mom are not happy.
I mean,
Right? Am I
But
not
I
telling
didn't
the truth?
even, like, I don't know how ads used to work, but that's wild.
Yeah.
They're like,
well, that's
hey,
what I'm saying. Like, that's
homeboy
some
needs
big
a
money
job.
thing. Someone
You
hire
got one or not?
my daughter's husband.
yo, the Depression
He's
was
a
for
loser.
real. It was for
I mean,
real.
real life. But I did not know you can put out an ad. That threw me for a second.
Yeah.
But so May 14th, 1930, a woman, elegantly dressed, early 20s, shows up to the door with a bag of groceries. Of course, the wife is at home by herself. Social worker says she's Julia Otis, sent by Miss Henderson,
Okay.
quote unquote.
Miss
All right.
Henderson.
Whatever.
That sounds
Miss
official.
Henderson. So, she lets her in.
Because she got the food.
She got the food.
got the groceries.
Yo, in the middle of the Depression.
And
I
I'm
don't know who
hungry.
you
I'm
are.
tired of eating some potato soup. Yeah. Come in. I'll fix up your groceries for
Right.
something for you, but mostly for me.
It could be a Nazi holding like a pit bull. And if he got groceries, I'm like, come on in.
Well, no, that's when you're kind of like, you just
Let's eat
grab
these
the pit bull and the
groceries.
groceries and then just shut the door in his face.
It's like, yo, if you're going to fry those hot dogs up, why don't you come on in here?
So she comes in. Catherine has 2 daughters, but she takes an interest in the eldest child. And the eldest child, who's usually shy, actually like comes up to Julia, quote unquote, and like starts talking and like showing interest in her too.
Because she had snacks.
All of a sudden, Julia asks if she could take the eldest daughter on a trip to California with her.
Wait a second. My brother tried to take my daughter on a trip to California. What sort of secret shit is happening here? Yeah, it ain't happening.
Something about California. And they would return in less than a month.
Sounds like the same
And
thing.
Catherine was like, not for $1 million. Bish. So, of course, Julia changed tactics. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. We're looking for a job for your husband, and we're going to help the children out. She gives her $2, which
Which was
is
a lot back then.
Which is, with the inflation and everything, is about $34 today.
Right.
Which
I mean-
is like a night out or like clothes or food that they were missing on the table, things like that. So then she returns the next day, Julia, and she brings more stuff. Clothes,
she's
linen.
grooming them.
Oh, man.
She's grooming
A
them.
layonette.
She's tricking out here.
What's a layonette?
It's like
Swaggy, I guess.
Will you just lay in
it is swaggy. It's kind of like a bassinet.
Well,
It's
that's
like
why I was wondering.
yeah.
So you lay in it.
Look at this
like a
swaggy
bed
ass
for kids.
layonette.
A drawer. She
Layonette.
bought them a drawer.
You gonna let me take the baby now? Check out this layonette. It's all soft and swaggy.
So of course she's in the house again, and she says, "quote I'd love to buy her some new clothes." Speaking of Mary, she's so pretty. End quote.
Creepy.
And I don't. Catherine's young. She's 17.
Oh, God. So she
Yeah.
says, oh, I'd love for you to do that, Julie.
Yeah, and she's bringing her gifts. She was caught up in it, and she let her take the child out to shop.
And she was never seen from again.
And when Julia was taking Mary Agnes out, who was previously like really, really liked her, talking to her and stuff, started crying and just causing a fit.
Oh.
So then the mom said she must have realized something that I couldn't see.
So she didn't take her or no?
No, she took her.
Yo.
She still took her, but the
What
mom
the
was like, it was just like a complete change. So somehow the
meltdown.
kid knew,
Her mom
this
was
ain't
like,
right.
but my hands are tied. She brought
Well,
that
it sounds
layonette.
like, because what I'm hearing is that Catherine just did not ask any questions of why this woman is
It
doing
didn't seem
any
like-
of these
yeah.
things. And I bet the kid asked those questions, but because they were too busy not listening, that's probably
Yeah.
why.
Well, I mean, because she said she's from social services. She's very nicely dressed. She's bringing them gifts, money.
Well, first off, that doesn't happen. Real life people.
yeah.
If you get a visit from CPS or any
Yeah,
other
you're not
company,
getting
you're not getting a
monies.
gift.
What would
Okay?
What would be the modern day equivalent of a layonette if they came by with like a 4K television?
I really need because I did look it up,
Maybe.
but now like in my head I cannot.
Like, what would be so swaggy that you'd be like, I will let this person in my house for a second
So
time?
and
honestly,
take my
they,
kid
yeah,
shopping without me.
no.
She
I
came
don't
with like
think
an
so.
Apple gift basket where it's just like got an iPad in there, MacBook Pro.
Like I said, I guess I'm more of a
Oh, it's just
criminal.
baby clothes.
Oh,
I thought it
well,
was
that
like
makes sense.
I thought it was like the caddy thingy.
Oh no, that's
she got
the bassinet.
She got Louis
Okay.
Vuitton bags.
I'm
and-
just grabbing the stuff out of her hands because my door is raggedy.
Be like-
I'll open the storm door, grab the shit out of her hands, and then kick her
She's
out.
got-
I'm done. I got the
She's
stuff. I
got
don't
two
need
crispy pair of Christian Louboutin.
I thought you were about to
red
say
bottoms.
chicken.
Tin-
I was really excited about the chicken.
Crispy
Apparently,
chicken.
crispy chicken is all it takes for me.
She's got the red bottoms in your size, a pair of pumps, and a pair of flats. Just how you feel.
That's how you feel.
Wait, which kid? I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
No,
I
it's
would never
like-
do that.
Like $800 a pair at least. So it's like, yo, how long y'all gonna be going?
Okay. The next day, a letter was sent with a $5 bill. Homegirl, well, Julia, excuse me, said that she was taking her to California and they'd be back in 2 months.
Bitch, no, you did not ask me for any of that, man. I'm finding you. Like, guess who else is coming to California? Me.
Police searched all the train stations. There was a couple of leads, but they didn't really pan out. She was supposedly seen with somebody else, though.
Of course.
So she had
It's
an
a trade-off.
accomplice, like an older woman that was with her. And there's accounts that was seen when she was buying the layonette that an older woman was with her also. So this is definitely fits into the conspiracy because she had somebody else she was talking with.
Right.
In the letter, she said she had a nurse for the baby for Mary Agnes. So
Did a nurse ever show up, though? Exactly.
Mary Agnes.
This Catherine is so dumb. Well, wait,
She
hold on.
was-
So
she
I have
was-
a question, though. So realistically, we know that, like, when people take children, for the most part, it's to do something awful to them. Either, like, sex trade, murder them, whatever. So when you think about it, though, like, how... I'm thinking of a Western movie. And mind you, this was years and years before. But, in Western movies, they always have, like, the saloon and the...
Yeah.
prostitutes are always saying. Like,
oh, yeah.
how else do you think? I don't
Hold
think.
on, I'm gonna get into
Oh,
that.
oh,
I'm gonna get
really?
into
Okay,
that.
so I'm
that's
so excited.
Not that far away.
Theories,
'Cause
yeah.
it's like-
Right, that's
Might
what I'm
not
saying.
be,
That's like
yeah.
50 years ago.
Right.
From that point.
So then 2 months pass. Of course, nothing. Another note was sent from Miss Henderson, the lady that supposedly
Miss Henderson
sent
is
Julia.
getting her whole ass handed to her.
She claimed that Julia was her cousin, and she was distraught because the death of her husband and baby girl. So she took Mary Agnes out of grief, and she was going to convince her to bring her back.
First off, guess what? You're getting held hostage because you got a Mrs. after your name until I get my kid back. Like, I don't give a damn.
Unfortunately,
That's not
it
what
never
happened.
No.
And Mary Agnes was never returned. They never found her.
No, because it's the fucking 30s.
Because she was in saloons, man. Forced to be a prostitute.
Yo, you could like move 20 miles away and live
This
a
is
completely
true.
different life back then.
true.
Man, that's
You know.
nice. Like, we could just reinvent ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
That's why like dudes from that time had like secret families just 2 towns over.
You really
They would
think
never
that
meet
that's
one
what-
Yeah.
another.
But first off, I'm not going to be poor as hell. Like, I can't work. All right, anyway, we're
And they were
diverging.
saying Julia, quote unquote, never wrote the letters, but the person with the same hand pinned both letters.
Yeah.
So it was dictated, not written by Julia, but written by the same person. So they're thinking the older accomplice, the older lady that was with her,
Yeah.
wrote both letters, because one was on the stationery of the place where she bought the layonette. So interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, they never found her or baby Agnes.
Well, I
so.
hope it all went okay. Jeez, that's
we'll
sad
see.
as shit.
So the next case is Joan Gay Crawford, and
Ooh.
this is a little interesting. This is a little interesting. So whatever. Woodward, Oklahoma.
Woodward, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
even know
what
that
I
was
thought.
a thing.
Yeah. I don't either.
April 9th, 1947.
Wait, stop. Can any of you name more than 3 cities in Oklahoma besides Oklahoma City?
No.
Woodward.
Woodward.
Tulsa, in Woodward.
Nope. It just seems like there's a lot of women with big asses from Woodward, Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, that's how they
Just
keep.
heard about it.
That's how they keep
know.
the population there, though. When a tornado comes, it's not taking the big ass girls. I'm
They
good.
got-
I'm
Wherever
safe.
that military base is, that's where my sister was born.
Oh God, Fort Sill.
Yeah, that's where my sister was born. There's a picture. I have a picture
Well, that
of my mom
explains a lot.
outside,
No, I'm just kidding.
and there's like a obvious tornado coming because everything's black AF. Her hair is just whipped
Really?
around, and she's just like, take
It's
the picture.
it's blacker than a Tyler Perry premiere.
It's not that dark. Okay, you're ridiculous.
Dion, you are bringing like the jokes that I don't feel good laughing at. Like I don't like that one. Just telling you.
Yo, man,
it's true.
that's pretty black though.
Anyways, April 9th, 1947, an F5 tornado ripped through Texas, Kansas, and Oklahoma.
If you say ass one more time,
They got nothing else to do but eat
All that
pork
ass.
and do squats
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
where the winds go ripping through the plains.
So, of course, unfortunately, lives
Right.
were lost. Joan's mother passed away. Father seriously injured. Joan herself had a huge splinter in her thigh, and then cuts on her
Damn.
face. And her older sister Jerry, with a G, minor cuts and bruises. So a neighbor found him, brought him to the hospital. Splinter removed. They were doing the basement as a little shelter, of course. Busy AF. They had an Aunt Ruth that came, checked on him.
and went back to her nice house.
No, she went back. She was she worked at another. She was working at another hospital
okay.
that was short staffed. Well, everybody was short staffed,
Yeah.
but even more short staffed. So she goes and works, comes back the next day, and both girls are gone. She's like, WTF?
Where the fuck are the girls?
Goes up to the people, finds out that 2 men's khaki uniform asked for Joan by name.
Well,
They asked for Joan Gay
tracking her.
Crawford by name, and they had orders to transfer her to another facility willy-nilly.
all right.
Only her, though, not
Okay.
Jerry, her older sister.
She was too
Only her.
old.
The staff, of course, let this happen because they were
Are
officials.
overwhelmed. Yeah,
And
official.
they're dressed like they are legit, and they knew her by name and was
Right.
like, okay, we'll go for it. And they carried the girl out on a stretcher because she had a huge splinter in her thigh. She could not walk.
This is
So the
fucked
question
up.
is, why wouldn't they take the girl that could walk? Like, you would make a faster getaway.
Because
But they
you
took the one
need the one that's
worst
least gonna be the least
injured.
resistant.
Yeah. So Ruth called hospitals everywhere,
Poor
tried to
Joan.
look for her shelters. Nobody saw this blue-eyed baby.
Wow.
Police did a 5-state search, and weirdly, they uncovered 3 girls' bodies that were never claimed, unfortunately. Like, the schools in the surrounding areas said, no, we have everybody counted for. Families
So
said
maybe they
weren't
were in the
missing
middle
anybody.
of transporting them. And because the systems didn't talk back then.
Yeah.
So
Man.
there was no, he didn't find any other information on the 3 girls that were randomly found, unfortunately, on those in the road, or on the side of the road. And everybody was thinking because her dad did survive, but he was well off. He wasn't like rich bitch, but they thought they maybe a ransom because she was the youngest.
Yeah, maybe.
No ransom call.
Nope.
Even Unsolved Mysteries did a little blip on this, and of course women came out and said they were Joan Gay Crawford. This one lady said she was hypnotized.
Well, listen,
I'm
you know
sorry.
what, Esther, you just opened the door. Brenda's gonna hypnotize you, and we're gonna watch.
She was hypnotized and she remembers things, but she was found not to be her. And there was a bunch of other women that came out and said, I'm her, and it was a mess. It was a mess. But they never found the real baby. And
That's
so the
sad.
question was, or maybe her injuries were more serious than they thought,
Oh,
and
she
maybe
might have
she
gotten an
died.
infection and
Mhm.
died of
Maybe
blood
she did pass
poisoning.
away in transport with the 2 dudes, but unfortunately, they still never found her body, and then they didn't go back and really talk about the other 3 bodies that they did find.
Well, yeah, because now they got work to do.
Right, exactly.
Fucked up,
So the next case is a woman who is actually a serial kidnapper.
Whoa.
So this kind of goes into the mind of the people that are doing this. And when she was caught, one of the times, she mainly went by Linda Taylor.
Wait,
But her birth name was Martha Miller.
both awful. Just kidding. No, I actually know a real life Linda Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk more about
this
it.
one's
She sounds like she can make some really good barbecue.
First of all,
listen,
don't sleep
Linda
on Linda
Taylor.
Taylor. She makes homemade bread and it's amazing.
I bet she just has that kind of vibe. Ask
She
her-
does, dude. She makes soup and stuff. Like whenever Linda's like, "Oh, I'll make that," and I'm like, "Will
I bet you
I bet her ribs are fire. I bet her ribs are fire.
I've not had those, but I
Taste
bet
them
you're
ribs.
right.
You think I boil them ribs? I ain't boil them ribs.
Oh, I
First of
like
all,
ribs.
people boil ribs.
Oh yeah, to get them
Some do.
tender.
What?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
there's a whole nother
unfortunately.
subject. Sorry.
Anyway, so we all remember Reagan,
Yes.
and we all remember him bringing up the welfare queen.
Ooh,
This was Linda Taylor.
Linda Taylor.
Linda Taylor, and that her welfare fraud was not even the biggest criminal act that she did. Obviously,
What
I'm talking about
was
her
it?
in kidnapping children.
Right.
So, like, but yeah, that was modeled after. I didn't even know that was like a real person.
I
you
didn't
know,
either.
how could you believe him? But he never specifically said black or white or what race this welfare queen was, but everybody, of course,
just a little
America.
Just a little quick
assumed.
statistic. There are more white people on government
Yes.
assistance than
Oh,
there
yeah.
are black people in the United States.
Exactly.
Yep.
So imagine that. Imagine the entire Golden State Warriors basketball team, minus Jaja Pachulia, on welfare.
Right. Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, so her mom from Alabama,
Ooh.
white.
They were
Her
definitely on
father was unnamed because
Her
back
mom was
in,
a hoe.
Well,
You was a hoe.
She was on the dirt. She's
I'm
for the
just
dirt
playing.
roads.
I mean, listen, she
Actually-
got to pay the bills.
actually because in the time,
No.
her dad
Nope,
is
Esther.
either mixed or black, and it
Oh.
was illegal.
That's
Oh,
right.
I thought you were going to go incest because it was
Oh, no, no,
Alabama.
no.
That's why I was like, don't do
Incest
it.
is
Because her
totally
dad
legal.
is her
I
dad.
was born in Alabama. Fuck y'all.
In Alabama, it's
I had no
totally legal
choice.
at this time.
It was military though.
Your
It was
cousin
only
just
military.
better not be black.
Exactly.
This is true.
So there was no father listed because that was illegal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So there was a dude that was named in the book. I'm not gonna say his name though. You know, it happened. So Linda also went by Constance.
Oh, she
Okay.
just picking out names.
Betty.
What is she, a Savannah Arts kid?
Oh shit.
Oh, shit.
Ah!
They're all female names. She would say she was an usherette. Anything from an usherette to a physician.
Okay.
What the hell is an
Any-
usherette? Is that someone who sits people at movies back in the day?
I guess I don't
Was
know.
that a joke?
I didn't feel like
How did no one not see the career trajectory of that?
Who was the person that
Well-
had all their eggs in the usherette basket?
Man,
This
you
is-
know this person is fly as hell. That usherette uniform is crisp and on point.
But she liked to pose more as a nurse
Okay.
than anything.
More
She had
respect that way.
wigs, makeup. She could be any race that she needed to be
For
as
that
an
job.
account
Yeah,
for
that
the
makes
occasion.
sense.
Rachel Dolezal, usherette.
But hold on. Here's my thing.
Mhm.
Does anyone kind of regret that we did not grow up in those days where we could have like totally, yeah, no, I got a degree. Just print that shit on Word
Right.
yourself. They
Oh.
believe it. They don't check
Or they
it.
don't even need
like
it.
you don't
They're
need
like,
to go
yeah,
to school
okay.
for that. Like back then you could be whatever. You could try ushering. You could try dolphin riding. Like all sorts of things.
I am very
Yeah.
glad I didn't grow up in that time because it would have
What?
been very dicey
Well,
for me.
it would have been very
It
bad
would've
for
been very
Theon.
dicey for 90%
Oh
of the
well,
country.
this is true.
It
Yes.
would have been bad for
Sorry.
me though, because I was basically interracial relationship.
They would just thought you
Well,
were
listen,
Mexican.
guys, I hate to break it to you, and this is my white privilege, I guess, talking here.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing
could
for
have
me.
been an
I would have been
usherette.
taking care of all of the systems.
Two-
But yes, no, I
two
decided I miss
things,
you guys.
two things a black man can never be: a time traveler and a spy.
Wait, why can't a black man be a time traveler?
What
Because
time-
when was it
when
cool?
are you gonna go?
Where are you going?
I mean, you'd have
You
to go
can't
like
travel.
2,000 years. You have
Where
to
are
go
you
back like
traveling?
2,000 years. Anything
Okay.
in,
You have no
in
rights.
recent modern times, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't go back.
Wait, why can't you go back to why can't I go back 3 years ago if I want to time travel?
You can. You're
You
white.
can. I said
Wait.
black man.
Oh, I
Black
get it
man
now.
can't
I'm
be
so
a-
sorry. I was
Can't
like,
be a time traveler.
I
can't
just
be a
thought
spy.
I thought it was a scientific thing. See
Oh,
that
no.
again?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
the
no.
whiteness in me talking.
Yeah.
Apologies.
So, anyways,
Where were we?
1967.
Okay.
67.
Linda babysat for a friend, quote unquote.
Friend.
Oh.
And she really liked this baby girl.
So she
wanted
just
her.
decided.
She actually had a son and daughter, and she made her son go
And steal the baby.
and steal the baby. But then the son felt bad and brought the baby back home.
Word.
And
How long was the baby gone though?
But because Linda's such a conniving
Conniving
person,
heifer?
she reported it kidnapped.
What?
She reported the baby that she kidnapped but from her.
Oh, she
Conundrum.
damn, she's smart
And
as shit.
so
Because
her
they're not gonna look at
son-
her.
Well, first her son Johnny was picked up, and they were like, "What's going on?" And he tells
Oh,
them
he
the
sings
story.
like a fucking
Yeah.
canary.
For real.
So then she gets, of course, arrested. But at that time, she was going as Constance Warnock or Warmack, excuse me.
Oh. Whoops.
That's a made up name.
It's still made up. I don't know how to say it.
That's such a made up fucking name.
And she was supposedly charged with child endangerment, of course. So she was booked for child endangerment. And when Chicago PD went to her apartment, they found 2 other kids.
Were they hers?
No.
Oh, so she just collected
They found
some
a
kids.
4-month-old black baby boy.
All right.
Oh, she likes
And
the
an
babies.
8-year-old white boy.
Okay, but what's she doing with them?
That was obviously not her. Well,
It's the baby depot. She just collects them. She has a menagerie of children.
And then soon after, she was charged with another child's abduction, Anna Marie Garcia.
Oh, so now she got the whole rainbow.
She has a lot.
All right.
But twist, all the charges were suddenly dropped.
Yeah, she knows somebody who knows somebody. That's politics, boo. I promise you.
And then there was no reports in the Chicago Tribune about this. Like, nothing
We buy 'em
until
off.
years later. And then when they did do something, the cops were like, yeah, she may have had involvement in a baby buying racket.
Whoa.
And they left it as that. They said nothing else about it. So,
Like, if you bought my baby, like you didn't, you stole my baby.
right.
Yeah, see, this might be,
Yeah.
no.
She's like, I paid for these babies fair and square. She pulled out the receipts and they were like, sorry, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Pretty much.
Of course, as the welfare queen, 1977, she was found guilty of welfare charges. And of course, somehow they limited how many charges to put against her. So she did like limited time. Next to nothing.
I told you she knows somebody.
She has to.
But she has dirt on
somebody.
somebody.
Yeah.
Then it came out in 1967. The baby Anna Marie Garcia that she was later charged with, she actually kidnapped her cousin,
Whoa.
Raymond, who was kept him for 2 years.
What'd she do with him then?
Well, Raymond, Anna Marie Garcia's family was connected to some gangs.
Oh.
They made their presence known, and she was like, "Mobby."
Oh, wow.
Mobby gave him back. But Raymond said that
Hold on.
the house, and he shared a bed with multiple children. Like, there was kids coming in and out.
Wall-to-wall babies.
Wall-to-wall
That
babies.
makes sense to me. But I just have one thing that I'm going to say.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure what gang the Garcias were rolling with, but...
She stole 2 kids from
And
this,
she's still
from
alive.
this-
like,
yeah,
what
she's
kind
still
of
alive.
gang? Like, I mean,
It just said
listen.
gang
was-
affiliation.
Choose your street gang wisely.
It was Trace Puntas from Blood In, Blood Out.
Okay.
I don't know how to comment on that.
Me neither. That's
I
why I
said
okay.
rolling.
You haven't seen that movie? That's an awesome movie. Watch Blood
Yes.
In, Blood Out.
I have, but every time Nate plays it, I block it in like my head.
It's for cheat time. Cheat time.
You guys cannot see Esther's face, but it is amazing.
Because the welfare charges, she was collecting checks on 11 kids that
the kids she
obviously
was
weren't
stealing,
hers. Yeah.
basically.
Stacks.
In
you know, she probably, hold on, side note, I think this might go with the theory. Honestly, she probably had to have a rotation of them because remember they were like trying to crack down and set those huge guidelines for
Yeah.
welfare, so they would have to physically like see the kids and do all this other
Right.
stuff. So she probably rotated them out once, so she got approved, the initial approval. They lasted like 3, 4, 5 months, maybe a little bit
Right.
longer, but when they were like, yeah, no, we absolutely need to see this kid, that's when she was
She was
like, time for you to go.
They're gone. But it wasn't. She also didn't take kids for solely money. Because in 1976, she kidnapped her then husband, quote unquote, niece, Diana Ray, who was 8 years old. And she knew she wasn't going to get any money. I mean, that's her husband's niece. Like, you're not going to get a ransom for that.
Like,
You're not going to be successful. Like, she
But
just
a
basically
family
took
member's
her
kid?
to
Like-
her house. Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
like,
here's
hey,
my
have
thing.
you seen my daughter?
The girl was the girl was returned, of course, somehow no charges, even though her husband was very like wealthy and well-to-do. Like, they could have brought
shit down on her.
They got
but again
scared.
No freaking charges.
This lady crazy as fuck.
Yeah. And so it kind of jumps around. So 1964, she went as Beverly Steinberg.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is supposedly, I think this is her first, possibly her first baby that she stole.
Okay.
She suddenly popped up with a baby boy. Said his name is Tiger.
This. What, she called him Tiger?
She called him Tiger.
She stole Tiger.
She got
Stole that damn baby.
I mean, I don't know what year Tiger was born, but maybe.
Tiger here. I think I've been kidnapped. Could you do me a huge favor and call my mom?
You're ridiculous.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Or you mean which woman?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Her quote unquote husband, then they weren't married, but she said she would call him her husband. JC. They didn't give a full name. I guess he was like, yo, fuck that.
Oh, he didn't need a
don't
whole
attach
name.
me.
He was way too cool for that. He's like, share.
So they broke up sometime.
Oh no.
After
JC
this.
wasn't having it.
And he wanted to rescue Tiger. He was
wait, so he wanted to kidnap the kidnapped kid?
Well,
is that resetting the Matrix?
He wanted to kidnap the kidnapped kid because he knew that she wasn't pregnant.
So, but
this was crazy. He did.
Good for him.
But
you go, Tiger.
Crazier is when he went into the home to get Tiger. There was an ass of kids there.
Did he take them all then? Was he freeing kids like when you free like animals when they're like in the thing, go be free, just opening up all the cages?
I just
and
drove him to the woods and just opened the door and just let him run.
Said, get out.
His main objective was Tiger.
So
there isn't there isn't reportings of what happened to the other kids, but Tiger went to his family in Tennessee. So, of course, under a different name and everything. So,
do you think they named him something like Hawk instead? Like, do you get another animal name?
But hopefully not.
What?
Yo, Hawk is cool. I want to be called Hawk. He's like, call me Hawk.
But Johnny, her son, said he didn't even know if he was her son because she had multiple birth records just laying around because she had all these kids funneling in and out.
Was she ever pregnant though, actually?
That's a good ass question. I do not know.
That is not interesting.
It's hard to say.
Well, yeah, because there's only like 1,000 kids we're trying to keep track of.
Exactly, unfortunately. But yeah, so nobody knows so far nobody has identified Tiger by his birth name, his real birth name, so we do not know exactly who he is or any of the children.
Well, that's good. They should be able to keep that to themselves, man. Like,
well, if they knew, but they don't know.
Oh,
like they don't know because she renamed, like she would get birth certificates.
Oh my god, so someone could be sitting around, have been adopted, and have no idea that they had
possibly
like they were in this mess.
Were in that thing. Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. Some shit.
That shit happens all the time.
It does,
unfortunately. And then so from there we go to the 1980s, and there was 3 major cases that he went into. And the 1980s is when teams started. So it was always 2 to 3 people coming to a home, like, hey, or 2 to 3 people like are surrounding or doing stuff around this. So, and then mostly they would hit small towns. So small town papers aren't really going to make national news. Like nobody's really looking out for that.
The communication network was not the way it is today.
So, Kevin Verville Jr., June 1980, 22-year-old military mother gave birth. June 30th, Sheila, young white woman with an accent. They did not say what the accent was.
Probably Texas.
Came up to the house. Probably Texas.
I'm just saying, Texas has got a strong, or Connecticut or New York or something.
I don't know, something. She came up to the house and said she worked for HELP, which is a
system offering services to struggling young military families.
Yep.
Hoes eating lasagna plates.
Oh, I like that.
And I was trying to
I
come
like
up with
lasagna.
one that was more serious, but I should have done that. Yep.
So she said,
I can eat
bring the
lasagna.
child in for a checkup.
Sorry,
I
I'm
do
sorry.
like it's been a while since I had lasagna.
I know.
make a
I was
mean
just
lasagna.
thinking that.
You do.
I'm making lasagna, I think, for Easter.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
Easter.
Thank Easter.
Yeah. So tell your brother that's what I'm making.
So yeah, come bring your kid in for a checkup. Fill out some paperwork. We'll help you. What else? The next day, Sheila comes in, picks up the mom and baby, drives 20 miles to a Indian reservation.
Oh, it's tribal land.
And
No, wait, they have. That means that they can't. The
Right.
cops can't investigate there. Like they have their own tribal cops.
right. Oh,
But if
what?
it's not
They
one of
actually
their
didn't put that
residents?
in there. Yeah, no, she wasn't.
Well, that's my whole point.
Uh-huh.
So then this is gonna just get stalled in the bureaucracy of it all.
I didn't even think
Okay.
about that. We didn't even. Yeah, he didn't even touch on that. Okay, so Sheila asked the mom. Well, they went to the Indian reservation to pick up another client, another mother. So
Oh,
it was
so
like
she's
supposed to be a
snatching up
meet and
moms
greet.
and babies right now.
Well, she asked the mother to go knock on the door and grab the other client, which is wild.
Oh no!
The
And left her there.
mother-
Took off in the car.
Yep. As soon as the car door slammed and the mother was out the car, Sheila stepped on the gas, ran away.
Oh,
with,
Sheila.
with the baby.
Damn.
And come to find out, help was fake. That was a fake organization.
So it was hoes eating lasagna then.
It was
Lasagna plates, huh?
The FBI, of course, got involved. Found no leads. There was, money trying to reward, any information.
And
nothing.
That's so terrible.
Come to find out, the FBI found out that Sheila, quote unquote, whoever she was, actually was approaching young military mothers, and doing the same spiel. But of course they were like, fuck off, whatever.
Wait, well, that's good because they're smarter than some of them this
Unfortunately,
generation.
yeah. So, and unfortunately, it just worked with this one mother. And they weren't even struggling financially. It was just, I guess, because he was away on leave.
Yep.
She was by herself, but she was 22. Like, usually they go for like 17, 16-year-old,
She might have looked
19-year-old.
young,
So,
though.
yeah.
She had one of those faces. It was like, I didn't graduate.
Yeah, probably.
The next one, Corey Gutierrez, August 2nd, 1980. She was born. 17-year-old mother, unwed, unemployed. August 7th. So very soon after,
5 days
a
old.
woman comes up. It's like mid-20s, black. They actually gave a lot of descriptors on here. Medium height, about 130 pounds.
Thereabouts.
Don't guess my weight.
Right?
Burgundy pantsuit, because she
Oh.
about that life.
Oh, she's snappy.
Knocked on the door. Said she was a representative of Department of Social Services. She was aware, of course, of the baby and the mother's financial situation. She was like, so we can help you. We want to help you buy the necessities for this baby. We want you to get a job. This baby is cute.
Yeah.
This baby should be in commercials. I got my partner running around or driving the car around because parking is crap right now. How about I bring the baby down to my partner because he knows more about the commercial connections. And then we'll see if your baby would be right for that.
No. Damn, no. All the things are wrong with this. You don't bring a baby in.
Parents
But
do that
as-
all the time. They throw their kids at people to make them famous.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this mother said, okay. And of course,
They never saw the baby again.
yeah, after an hour or so, she was like, okay, they took my baby. So she calls
Oh,
the
then
cops.
it dawns on her. Oh, shit. I just gave my baby away. No,
like,
I know. Listen, as a mom, shit is hard, and like she
And
probably
she-
had some
the lady
postpartum, like
was-
real talk, and
And
this
the
woman
lady
seemed
came
really
with
nice.
credentials. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was like,
she's
yo,
a
I can
young
help
mom.
you.
Well,
I
she's
can
a
help
young
you.
mom, and babies are hard.
Of course, cops were like, this story sounds wild AF.
Right.
But around that apartment complex, other mothers were like, yeah, I was approached by the same woman and asked the same thing and told the same thing. Like, my baby can be in commercials. Can she bring my baby out to see her other partner? So, like,
But I just wasn't
these people,
the one who gave my baby away.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because I know my baby's ugly.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
You know, if you're real, you can smell like that's what I'm saying.
Listen, Rory had this what they call it, like a blocked tear duct or something. So, or it was a leaky tear duct up until he was like 6-8 months old. So this kid always looked like he was crying from one eye. His hair stuck straight out on his head like a little porcupine. I thought he was adorable as hell, but I also knew he probably looked weird as shit to other people. Like, but I get it.
That's just be honest with yourself. I think that's how you avoid a lot of scams. He's like, you know what?
True. No,
this ain't right.
This don't, something don't fit.
So last one, or third case in the 1980s, David Blockett, born November 1980 to Vanessa, unwed 19-year-old, with another child at home that was 2 years old. She was living with her mom.
I bet her mom was mad as shit.
Yeah, word.
A lady.
Vanessa's always fucking up shit. Like, is she from New Jersey?
Yeah.
Wait, are they from Jersey?
Actually, I didn't write where this was from, so
not
I don't
that
know
really
if I
matters,
got
but-
it.
Deep Queens.
But still, deep Queens.
Damn Vanessa.
A lady, light complexion, black woman, with wearing a wig with bangs, said she was Marie Kelly, mid-30s or middle age. There's two different accounts, so we don't know if she was.
She was between the age of 30 and 92.
Exactly.
That's not middle aged.
Like an Asian woman or a black woman.
Yeah,
like she
you
was
really can't tell the difference.
30 or 100, anywhere.
Oh,
between
they
those.
age wonderfully.
And she also had a list of children names from that neighborhood that were just recently born.
Okay, bitch, you doing the most.
She told Vanessa she was sent by Riverside Hospital to collect David, the newborn, for a Christmas party.
What?
The hospital was gathering children
Vanessa's
born
always
that
doing
year.
that dumb shit. Vanessa's such a dumbass.
They were gathering children born that year so they could take a picture, have a party, and Vanessa was like, no, I've never heard of this. This doesn't make sense.
Okay,
and Marie
good. Vanessa's not
doubled down on it, though. Reassured her,
Oh,
took her in.
She was
said
a car
yes.
salesman closer.
Yes.
Got
So, unfortunately, and then the older son heard party, and he was like, I want to go. He got excited.
Oh, no.
Marie went off with both of them, with both boys.
God, Vanessa. Like, you had a Vanessa.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's awful.
So, the oldest boy was found an hour later by the cops, wandering alone, 4.5 miles away. Oh, no, that's not hours away. 4.5 hours
So they literally, they did. They freed him in the woods.
they
like
just,
Stan said, they just
like, be
tossed
free.
him out. Go, kid.
It
Live
was
your
like,
life.
the oldest kid. She still had the baby is still out there, hopefully.
But God, how
so
scary. The oldest was what?
right,
How old?
2 at the time.
So this kid, they throw him out of a vehicle, basically.
They
place
into
him
a
out of a
shopping mall.
vehicle.
Yeah. Into a shopping mall.
and then just
they left
leave.
a note.
Can you imagine
Was-
the trauma this
Oh,
poor
yeah.
buddy has?
Oh yeah, he yeah.
Aw.
They did leave. Marie did leave a note with his name and contact information.
Well,
so
there's
some
that.
compassion there. Weirdly, so Marie actually, same spiel on all the other moms that she had the names of the babies for. Of course, nobody else took it. She just happened to find somebody vulnerable, Vanessa,
Yeah.
who took her on the offer. And then, no ransom calls, but Marie did call and ask what formula the baby was using.
So that must mean.
And she realized, or she sense that the cops were listening, so she hung up really quick, so they couldn't trace the call. But that was weird. Like,
well, yes and no, because if the baby's on formula and it's having like gas or any of those things, or having a bad reaction with spitting it up, all this other stuff. Yeah. Like, you would, if you gave it Similac, and it's because Rory could only do Nestle. Oh. And like, because he would throw up, like projectile fucking vomit everything else. So yeah, it happens.
So this happened in November. December 23rd, a bag was found with the baby's clothes. Aww. But nothing else. The brother remembered that Marie had an accomplice, a male that was driving the car.
Okay.
And like, he's gone through hypnosis and everything to try to remember what exactly happened. Oh no, that was the second case. Oh, I can't count. Oh no, this is the most recent case. Never mind. Okay. So the brother is trying to remember, and I mean, he told him what the car looked like, and everything has not been found. Damn. Unfortunately. So the most recent case, January 18th, 2021.
Whoa. Okay.
Grant County, Washington.
Okay.
Man and a woman shows up. Says the woman is white, heavy-ish. I love that was used in the book. Heavy-ish. Long brown hair. Says she's with Child Protective Services. Man, tall, crew cut.
Oh.
Black polo, green tactical pants.
Said he sounds like a military dude.
For the Grant County Sheriff Department.
Oh.
Came up to the home.
Wannabe.
Came in to inspect the children, but all of a sudden the woman turns and runs to the car.
Yeah, no, sir.
And the dad that was there says, "I'm gonna grab a gun."
Oh, good.
And they both, and the man and woman fucked off. They booked it with their gray Chevy Impala.
Bullshit.
And the father called the cops. Good. Of course, they didn't know anything about this visit. Child Protective Services knew nothing about this visit.
Crazy.
So that's like the most recent, from when this book was written, the most recent posers of people that say they're child protective or they're from a government agency trying to take kids. So some theories.
Good. I'm ready to hear this because I have a few of my own. So I just wonder if I can agree with them.
So, of course, the main theories, but he actually brings up a really interesting theory. Ooh. And I wish I could have picked out stories that were more towards his theory. It would have made sense if I actually, read the whole book. But, God, there is so many cases, which is crazy. There's so many cases.
Right.
And it's not, national thing.
Well, of course not. I'm about to tell you why. But go ahead. I'll let you talk
first.
So
the main theories are, of course, the women fake pregnancies or they miscarried, so they take children. But that's not every case.
Right. That's actually fewer cases.
Yeah.
And those kids have been... More of those children are found
and brought back
alive as adults or as kids. Yeah.
The theory is that they were hired by the biological parent to get the child back.
No.
Which has happened. There are a couple of cases of that,
but that's not the majority of them.
Yeah.
No. That's not the
course, they are abusing the children, which some actually attempts are the last one that I read, people run away as soon as there's any pushback. Mainly they will run off. They will just be okay, up and leave. Yeah. Or they'll go to somebody else. In the cases, they go to different families, and as soon as something happens, they leave. So they're not always abduction is not always main key, because then they would definitely do it all the time.
Yeah.
But illegal adoptions, of course, is a big one.
Yep.
They're at the legal ring, but because there's so many unsuccessful attempts.
Don't do it, Dre.
The illegal adoption ring doesn't need phantom social workers, because there's so many unsuccessful attempts. It definitely, there are cases that are in it, but it is not the main case.
Okay, but hold on. Was that his crazy theory, the illegal adoption ring? Because that's literally where mine went.
It's a main theory, period. But
so
it was his theory to begin with.
Was it?
Then I'll tell you.
Dre is trying to get the whole thing.
I'll tell you what he came up with.
Okay.
But that was his main thing, which, I mean, for most cases, yes. But a lot of them, I mean, they're very unsuccessful because a lot of parents do push back. I mean, I read most of the case conspirators, you know, they look official. They have more than 2 people running with them. So they're like professionals with this. But most of the cases that I did skim through are very unsuccessful. So the child adoption ring does not survive on phantom social work. But there are cases that have definitely that. So, of course,
okay, but hold on.
Okay.
I have a question about that. How you really don't think that they don't survive on phantom?
Fully. Not fully, because there's a lot of what I read were successful, but there's a lot of cases. But that's only like 6 or 7 cases out of this whole book. So where the UK ones, where they did kidnap a kid, an hour or so later, the kid would be returned or found. So a lot of it isn't like that isn't the main thing.
I get what you're saying, but services. I'm also very like, I feel like that's a pitch out there to mislead from the real cause. Like, that's how deep I am in this. Because, so hear me out. You have celebrities that'll wait until they're like 74 years old. And then all of a sudden you'll see one photo of them and they'll be like 8.5 months pregnant. And you're like, but wait, I swear I just saw you like 3 months ago and you weren't pregnant at all. And now you're pregnant, right? And then they end up with a baby in like, that doesn't look like them, that doesn't like, I mean, all these things. And it's I'm telling you, I bet some of these kids are the adopted ones.
No, there is.
Do a genealogy, kids.
There is definitely a child adoption ring, but they don't feed solely off of the phantom social workers.
I mean, I agree. I think, but I'm just saying.
There are cases definitely that could point to that, but as many unsuccessful attempts, like, that's not what's feeding the child adoption ring.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
It is it is part of it, but it is not the main thing. So of course vigilantes, because they say the people are taking, because they target poor.
Yeah. Easy targets.
Yeah, easy targets. Poor young people that obviously
minorities,
shouldn't have kids. Yeah,
easy marks.
Yeah, so that's a thing. I mean, there's a couple of cases like that, but then there's the one that I read, the 22-year-old that was a military wife. Like, her husband was doing fine. Like, he was a corporal, so he was getting into the ranks.
Yeah, he was
like
doing
a
well.
Corporal. What is it?
That's an E4. Corporal's an E4.
Yeah, he was getting into the ranks. So I mean, they're still young. Like, they had money. Well, they weren't rich, but I mean, they weren't living in squalor or anything like that. So, so the vigilante's out. And then of course, because it's phantom social worker, some people equate that to Men in Black terms. So like,
ooh, that's an interesting theory.
Because there are some accounts where people where men have came in and they use like watches or things like that to like take pictures or some things like that. They're wearing heavy makeup. They're wearing wigs.
I'm leaning into. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because remember a couple weeks ago I said, what if aliens are already on Earth and they're like in the human form? So ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Bring them back as a extra special. I got the whole guys, I can't talk anymore because they're going to come get me if I say what I say.
Yes and no, because most of these are very polished people, though. Like, yeah, they're wearing wigs and stuff, but they're polished, they're articulate, they know what they're doing. They're professional alien. Nobody's wearing black suits like the Men in Black. Or
that
like
was because they do it as a joke on the Men in Black. See, they've already got all this figured out.
So his theory, which is like a new take on this subject, is child pornography.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. The child sex trade is ridiculous.
Well, not that they're taking the kids before that, but they're taking pictures of the kids when they come into the home and search or look at the kids.
So listen, there's this whole thing that happened in Michigan and it was like the Detroit child murders, but it was linked to basically this place called Fox Island, and it was bought under by this rich guy. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, long story short, he bought it to turn it into like this home for wayward boys. So they would go there for the summer, but he got government money from it, like a grant, all this stuff, because, you know, they're wayward. Like, they need help.
Right.
So he would only take like 5 or 6 in a year. And that's what they did. They sexually molested, and he was a supplier. So rich people, dignitaries, all sorts of fucked up people across the world would fly in to this private island, and then they would molest these boys. So then they would be looking for ones of certain height, stature, because that's why they're going and taking photos of these kids, because it's a damn McDonald's have it your way child pornography list.
Well,
and the ice cream machine is always broken.
You're ridiculous.
Right?
Well, most of these... Well, okay. So, possibly. But most of these only have one encounter with a phantom social worker. So, they literally just come into the home.
Yeah, it's a database.
Ask the parent...
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real talk. Like, it's probably a database. They come in, they take a photo, and then they upload it. And then that's like, if you're looking for this child, like, and then they go back, and
so
it's probably updated all the time.
Been chosen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Because you're rich. Okay, so most people who do this, well, like, not saying, but a lot of them are men who have a lot of money,
right,
and or women,
because
the cost of this and the danger associated with it, and that type of personality most of the time has done everything else,
right.
So it's like this deviant, fucked up situation. It's awful.
That's not where he goes, but that actually is pretty interesting. That's an interesting follow-up, actually. So that's a good one. Where he goes on this one is so we go into another case. So 1994, Richard Burris victimized Latino families. He went in to take photos. So when they went into homes, they would ask, of course, unfortunately, for the child to undress.
What?
So they could make sure there were no bruises or cuts.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be done in the presence of 2 people.
Well, you know what? That's why they targeted small families, minorities, and stuff like that. Because I mean, we know that information, but you know. So this dude was a computer expert, and he actually was doing photo manipulation. So of course,
what does that mean?
Basically Photoshop.
So he was photoshopping what though?
The child pictures.
Oh, that is not how most child porn is made.
Well, I mean, this is the 1990s. These
this
are just
guy,
photos.
This guy was a Craigslist child porn level. Like, that's where he's at.
There was another case, 1996. Mother's upstairs, sees a flash from downstairs, runs because she doesn't understand what's happening. A child let a phantom social worker in, and he was taking pictures of the kids.
Oh, guess who's dying today?
Yeah. 2002, a CPS, quote unquote, agent woman came in, visited multiple homes, taking multiple pictures of children nude.
No.
2006, a male phantom social worker photographed a 4-year-old girl. 2014, 2 women came in and photographed a 1-year-old. 1980s. Well, and a lot of these, there isn't accounts of them taking pictures of the children all the time, but there's a lot of spy camera and spyware that was out, and it's really affordable. So it could be just something as small as like a pocket watch or a button.
Or the pin.
Or a pin
camera.
And so what his theory is it's a big child pornography ring. And that's basically how they kept, because a lot of these attempts were unsuccessful. They didn't always try to take the child.
Right.
So
So it's a marketing piece.
Is taking the pictures and selling those on the internet is how they funded Keep On Going, like how they kept going to other places and saying they're a child protective services or whatever it is in that state and getting into homes and stuff like that. So that was his take, a new little twist on everything, and definitely a light shiner, because I didn't even know that was a thing, especially here in the US. But his thing is that since it's not so publicized, everybody just kind of gets amnesia about it. So it's always told as a news story in the news, but it's not a news story because it's been going on since the 1990s, even earlier.
Well, that's because probably when it has to be reported, the rich dudes who are buying these sick things edit the shit out of it.
And then a lot of it is, of course, like younger, small town minorities and things like that.
Yeah, so people that
wouldn't catch the public eye, unfortunately. Per se. So there was a couple of cases that did make national headlines.
Let me guess,
it was
were they white?
Yeah, basically. But it was always told as something new. Like, this is never, it was always told like this has never happened before. Yeah. Kind of style. So that's why it's like, it's basically public amnesia because it keeps happening, but nobody's really, it's not like
I'm tracking it now. Solve this whole thing, Esther.
It. I mean, like, and there was a case
when I die,
early as 2021, so it is still, people are
still
make
sure this one's saved for real.
So if you want to read the book, it's called The Child Stealers by Martin Cannon. And there's a bunch of cases I would like to go through. I went through some of them. It's a little aggressive. It's
by
a lot
aggressive,
of cases.
What do you mean?
It's a lot of cases.
Like,
a lot of cases of like people posing as government officials and saying they need to check the child.
I might read this
I'll
so I can get angry.
But it was an eye opener because I listened to them a lot. Mysterious Universe, and that was something that really caught me because, I mean, never hear about it. So
right, I liked this one. Thank you, Esther. I felt like I paid mostly good attention without the visual.
They'll steal your baby.
They steal your baby. Hide your kids. Hide your wives.
Your baby.
There's cases where they attacked parents. Like they were getting like the phantom social workers were getting more aggressive, trying to get the baby. But I think that those fall into the category of like selling kids and stuff like that when they're more aggressive like that.
They're trying to get the bag.
Exactly. So I mean, like every case is different. I mean, there's multiple things that fit into it, but this one he just brought a fresh perspective, child pornography. Because why would they keep going back if you're unsuccessful? Why would you keep doing it? And how are you going to get that money?
Well, so part of it is a challenge. You hope that they're going to give it to you. Like, all right, let me see how good of a salesman I am. And then the other part is like, take more photos. Maybe
the photos.
Well, and here's my thing. So what if it's a special request and then they come back and they're like, yo, I need more photos. And maybe that's why they come back. I'm telling you. Listen, parents, if you don't feel right in your gut, that's like, in my belief, the Lord and your body trying to tell you, yo, stop, think about it, don't do it, and collaborate, and just go.
The social or the quote unquote social workers will usually run away as soon as you say, I'm calling the cops or I'm gonna get
you about to die today, ho.
Exactly, they run off.
You ready to die today?
And they come official though. Like some of them have names. They know when you had the baby. They know your financial status. So it's like what?
That's when I instantly
what is
like,
the
scammer
or what is the where are they getting their information? Like what is the and then the lady Taylor that was getting off on charges. Like how far up does it go?
To the president or whoever's in charge. Like
whoever's in charge. Yeah. I mean.
Somebody high up where
somebody
she was living.
Knows.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this was a Theory Tuesday with E and I. Phantom social workers. Be careful if you have babies. Don't let them hose in.
No.
And he even said like social workers want you to be skeptical. Like, don't ask for badges, ask for phone numbers, take pictures of them. Definitely take pictures of them. If they want to come into your home now,
take
with
a picture
your phone,
of their damn ID.
Exactly. Like, take pictures of them.
Send them somebody a text.
And if they run away, be like, yo, got you, bitch.
And if they have lasagna on the breast,
then that is not true. Because
hoes eat lasagna plates.
So does not exist.
Next week is Web Chronicles. We'll be reading stories off the webs.
Oh, I can't wait.
Join us. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.